Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me. Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions. And today we're discussing an unusual model and a very early example of it. This is the Patek Philippe 5055G-001. This is a Moonphase watch, often confused with the 5085. This is not the 5085, and it's not made of steel, it's made of white gold. So the size of it, depending on where you measure, is between 36.2 if you measure it 12 to 6. I measured it side to side and it was 36.5. That should give you some sense of the scale. It's 43 millimeters from lug to lug and it's 9.5 millimeters thick with a 19 millimeter spacing between the lugs. This watch launched in 1998. It was made to about 2004 or 2005, but you could see self-evidently genuine tritium patina on this dial, and given when Patek Philippe switched over to Luminova, I have to believe this was probably made in the first or second year of production. So the watch is handsome and it's got a lovely nostalgic tint to it that is not fauxtina. In white gold, despite not being large, it's got nice weight to it. The strap is brand new and it's not broken in, so it's going to have some stiffness. So forgive me if I have to pull it a little bit tight to cinch the watch down on my 16 centimeter circumference wrist. But you can see it wears easily. Now the lugs are so short side to side that I believe you could wear this on a wrist of 13.5 centimeters circumference. While it was designed as a man's watch, it could be worn on a woman's wrist and look great in the process. It's also fairly flattened with a sloped bezel. It will slide underneath a dress cuff. Let's take one last look down the barrel, which is always the definitive shot. Then a look at the strap, which is large rectangular symmetrical scale alligator leather, black, high gloss, monotone stitch, a sheer cut edge lacquered for refinement, calfskin on the bottom, no crimping, no gouging. You can see this is a brand new Patek Philippe factory strap in outstanding condition, and that we have here a matching white gold Patek Philippe folding clasp, and that it is a snap shut mechanism to provide closure with a Calatrava cross, the logo of the manufacturer. You can see it on the crown, you can see it on the buckle, and you will see it on the rotor on the case back, but we're not there yet. You can see that this is a monoblock case with strong lines, a hugely angular bezel, a cylindrical case, sharp thrusting block-like lugs, and you can see that this is a kinder, gentler era of watchmaking, back when hallmarks were actually stamped laterally on the sides of the case and the sides of the lug. You can also see that there are some correctors here for the sub-registers. We've got, of course, a Moonphase and a pointer-style date. If this looks a lot like a 5712, yes, it's the same basic movement. And you can see we've got a power reserve indicator, so 48 hours of automatic winding power reserve, though if you wish, you can wind manually and watch the power reserve indicator traverse its scale. We have small seconds. You can see all the hands are white varnished for high contrast against a matte black dial base. We have coaxial Moonphase with a pointer style date. We have a chemin de fer or railroad track outboard for reading the minutes. Then we have a small one for reading the seconds. Now the watch includes a true factory tritium dial. I am not certain that the hands are original to the watch, although you can see they have a visible patina. It may just be that there's a thicker layer of tritium-based lume on there, because when you turn out the lights, what you'll find is that the dial fades very quickly, and there's absolutely no ambiguity about whether that is an original tritium dial. Whereas the hands, they're extremely faint, but even aged tritium has phosphorescent material mixed in with it as used on a watch dial that will allow it to glow a little bit for a few moments after lights are turned out. And you can see how quickly this dies down. So I'm fairly confident that these are original tritium hands, and the real-time fade you just watched augurs favorably for that conclusion. Now out back, it's based on the caliber 240 micro rotor. You can see it's got a screwed in case back. Since this is a pre-2000 watch, almost certainly a pre-2000 watch, you can see it has the Geneva seal on it. Micro rotor automatic, 22 karat mass. This is a movement originally launched in 1977. In general, the less elite Patek watches that are automatic will have a center rotor. The micro rotors tend to be upscale models and complications. So you've got the micro rotor, which is in the same plane as the rest of the mechanism. So you have a big open case back as though it were a manual. You'll also have a thinner watch as though it were a manual, but you still get the convenience of an automatic. You've got a 48-hour power reserve, a 3 hertz beat, rated all pivots on 29 joules, and you can see that it has beveling in the jewel sinks. It has engine turning in several sizes on the base plate. It has beveling, although not as perfect as 21st century Patek Philippe. You can see that they are credibly executed. And yes, finishing has been getting better on watches since the turn of the century because it's more often seen. Solid casebacks were quite standard, even through the late 90s. So if this isn't quite the eye-watering decoration, you're wondering, how is this Geneva seal? It's because in a previous era, a handsome, well-finished movement was considered to be a sign of integrity, not an act of peacocking for you and your friends at Red Bar. You can also see that we've got polished screw heads in all cases with chamfered slots and circumference, and the 3 locating pegs on the balance cock are polished on their top. You can also see that this is a kiff shock protection, and then we've got a free-sprung Gyromax style balance, a system Patek invented in the late 40s, implemented in the early 50s. It was one of the first free-sprung balance architectures, and it will both make a watch more shock resistant and allow a more precise regulation of the watch. Finally, an element I want to call attention to is what it's made of, which is white gold, really gray gold. So this is a high-quality 18-karat white gold alloy that is white all the way through. It's not a rhodium-plated watch, nor does it need to be rhodium-plated. And if you scratch it, it's the same color underneath. I also want to emphasize that this entire upper portion, lugs, bezel, and case, is a monoblock. See how there's 0 seam between bezel, case, and lugs? All of that is made in one piece. And then the movement, the dial, and the hands inserts through the case back. So you have this super seamless topside aesthetic. And white metal, complication, tritium dial, neo-vintage. This watch has everything going for it. Screwed in case back, don't be fooled by that. It's 30 meters. It's not a swimmable watch. But otherwise, this is the rare gold watch that I could see being your all-the-time watch. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.